Namaskaram. I am here just because of COVID. We were COVID mates on conferences. Thanks you, Sujiva, for hosting me here, and maybe the management I am not taking by name. Many people yesterday, I met a few of them, had discussions. It's wonderful to be here. When you are talking about CINEC, you were mentioning Fiji. 8 years back, I was in Fiji to talk about Ramayana. See the contrast, we are very close. Ramayana is all in Lanka. How many people know Ramayana? Only very few. Yeah, all Indians know Sri Lanka because of Ramayana. Do you know that? Rama's wife was kidnapped and kept in Lanka. Right? Eh? And that was the most safest place probably Sita had in life. She had a lot of doubt on her own brother, but not on Rama. Correct? I went to Fiji to teach this. In an international conference, I was talking about Ramayana. And this is my first visit to Lanka, though I know Lanka. Not from Ramayana alone, from space. What you see in Google today, I made those studies maybe 20-25 years back. So thank you very much for hosting me and keeping me active. I think the person who came onto stage, I must decorate it with a shot. And how can I do that when I don't do it to the lady who invited me here? And I think only one person communicated to me, and the title was not given by me, actually it is given by Ajit ji, right? Ajit ji is the one who gave the title of the topic, not me. What topic I have to speak? Kind. I didn't know how many people are there. I would have bought a little more, but I think you have a guest from ministry who was sitting beside you. So I cannot skip.
The senior most academic here.
Yeah?
The senior most academic.
Yeah, senior most academician. I got it. We have a connection because I was a management consultant and I am now working as person of practice in the management. Thank you. Namaskaram. What do? I don't know. My MBA happened to be in knowledge management. That's where I started my journey on education probably. And that time who was director for or the chairman for ISRO was Kasturi Rangan. The president nominated him in the parliament as a member of parliament. We have nominated members in parliament from education, science, films, art, and president happened to be an ex-ISRO man from Space Department, Kalam. We stayed in hostels together, we used to go together for programs. I was there in his Vision 2020. And Kasturi Rangan was the chairman for new education policy in India. We have what is called a new education policy. But India is a large country. I believe education should not be learned, copied from some place like Finland. What is new education policy is exactly the copied from Finland and then said that's a great education. I believe education goes along with the culture, practices, heritage, No, I cannot forget and learn something forgetting my grandmother. That's why I named under grandmother's child care. And I was part of Academic Staff College. Academic Staff College is a system in University Grants Commission in India where we educate university teachers on the forefront of the academics. So I was director for that. Also we do educate the youngsters who come into universities because they don't have a B.Ed, they don't have a master's in education. They get expertise in one field but they teach. So they need to know the techniques of learning and teaching, which I don't have. Correct. But I happen to be the director there because of my passion for academics and education during my profession as a scientist in ISRO. When I went there, I thought I must learn what education is. So my first job was sitting in B.Ed college and M.Ed colleges, listen to lectures, learn from people like Sujiva who was education experts, right? So I learned, though I don't have a degree with me. And I also learned from MIT. MIT was giving a special program on the subject which I am going to talk, adaptive learning. And that happened in 2007. So it's almost 17 years. And what I did was, I have a bad habit of documenting whatever I do. That's why I'm keeping one recorder there, another recorder here, another recorder there. Today, but earlier it was always notes and papers. So what I did was, 1 month program from MIT was over, I authored a book on adaptive learning. With an anticipation, probably what in America happens on online computers can happen in India. But then I had the responsibility of teaching educators. I insisted that all the teachers should make a production ready YouTube producer or maybe a camera ready for any telecasting classes. So we had a DrTPS, which is the government's TV program which was running. We had an education channel for that. So I decided my teachers who come into my institute for getting trained, they will produce something, at least half an hour lecture will go into DrTPS. So I learned how to do the videography, editing, mixing, film making, right? Multimedia was not a great activity in India probably 17 years back. So that's a time when I wrote my first book on adaptive learning. So you can go to my website, download that book. Adaptive Learning, Pedagogies and Practices for E-Web Net Learning. How internet can be used. But nobody accepted, I think it was forgotten by most of the people including me. But then COVID again came, people started thinking back, yes, it has to be online. So my book came into limelight again after, because of Professor COVID, okay, which nobody else can teach, sometimes diseases can teach, right? So I called COVID as a Professor COVID. So what happened was, then I became again active in that. So it's only during the time, all my conferences, all my education, I taught Bhagavad Gita to the United Nations Yoga Academy on online, and I had many participants from all across the globe. I am into the probably the most advanced computers which I purchased when I was in service. We are in Department of Space, we have no problem for money. And we have a different system of ministry in Department of Space, thanks to one of the greatest visionaries of Indian administrative service in India, where you have a department, generally everything has to go to the top for approval. But Department of Space is such, the chairman will give, no, not the work alone distributed, the fund is also distributed. You decide how do you want to spend. So as a young scientist, I had a lot of fund with me. Crores of rupees of Indian rupees, right? So we know how to manage things. It's not managing, it's administering. Managing is a bad word. Generally I say, I don't know how to do things, I manage things, right? If I don't know cooking, what do? Manage cooking. If you don't know the subject, come to the stage, what do? Somehow manage the class. Correct? What is administration? Administration is a higher word wherein I don't have resources, I pull resources. I have a book called, I think I need the set of books. I will refer each and every word what I am saying. which is already documented. I came with a bunch of books. Okay. I'm going to gift all these books to the CINEC, but I will refer here and there. These are all my books, authored by me. Okay. And this book talks about the difference between management and administration. This is a book which I wrote on Orkut. You know what? There was one social media called Orkut long back. There is a context in which I am going to talk about all this subject because I was in social media, and then today what we talk about adaptive learning is how to use all the medias. Correct? How to use all the medias in education. So this probably is only one book in the world where casual discussions on a social media Orkut is made into a book form. So you can check your fortune by opening any page. What do you get to do? Yeah, it says control your anger. Right. So this is like a handbook for you to take your life through a beautiful course, in which I wrote management is not administration. It is not, we call it MBA, correct? What is the degree in management? Throughout the world, correct, no? The title is called the MBA. Is there a word called management there? Master of Business Administration. But we call them as management students. That is because we don't look at each and every word very carefully. That's what happens. And during COVID, what I did was, I thought about my education in the early childhood and wrote a book, not a book, it's a book only, but handling purpose I made it into 4 volumes. Otherwise it's a book. A to Z of early childhood education. So you can see the title is A, B, C, D up to G in one book. H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P in the other book. Chapter headings are A, B, C, D. Right? And you can have A1, A2, A3, etc. like that. So probably nobody would have written a book on A to Z of education like this. And it ends with L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T and T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. This talks about how education has to be. And I don't call children as tiny tots. I call them as tech tots. These are all technical words which I have pushed. If you want, you have to write down so that you can give a, I was telling how education and lecture can become resourceful. You should either make a note on your mobile phone and make a note and then send it to me what you learned from the class. Or maybe, I don't like guest lectures and seminars, workshops, I like classes. Probably I like workshops in which we do a lot of craft and art, that's what I do. So this, what you learn from this? This is a method of looking at early education onwards. And this is specifically for age 3 to grade 3. Education basically has got different stratum. Up to, in this book also I have written, you ask a small child who is crawling, can just speak little bit, who is the best person in the world? What do they say? My mother is the best person in the world, right? Or maybe father also they will add. That's it. All over the world it's like that. But you ask a child who goes to nursery, LKG, UKG, you have all these here, same style, right? L kilogram, U kilogram, M kilogram, middle also is there. And grade 1 you ask who is the best person, they will tell my teacher was the best person. Correct? But then the teenager you ask who is the worst person in the world, they will tell teachers and then they will tell the parents. Correct? Who are the best people for them? The peers. The friends are the best people in the world. We have crossed all those stages, right? Now, if you have real ability to become a good teacher, probably they will look upon somebody who is out, not in the campus, not in the classroom. I go for lectures like this in millions of students, maybe thousands of engineering colleges, all the MBA colleges, medical colleges. I keep traveling like this. After 1 hour lecture, people come and tell their problems to me. So first question which I ask is, don't you have any teachers where you can ask this question? They'll say no. Why? Have you seen this? The reason is they don't find trust, number one. Assume you think about your best teacher in your life. Who is the best teacher in your life? One teacher, if somebody wanted to name, you will have problem, right? Correct or not? I don't have that problem. If I go back to my village, I don't stay in my village. I am from Kerala, but I stay in Hyderabad. It's nearly 1,500 kilometers. Once in a while I go there. My teacher who never taught me in my schools, who come and meet me. He was a science teacher, not in my class, but some other class. How he used to teach? He used to smoke those days. And he will take the cigarette there and then put a lens there and then burn the, and that is how he said, this is focus. This distance is focus. His class was mostly not inside, outside. And today, if my children from all over the world, they come and stay with me in my home, which is nearly 200 years old, it's like, that's called a Gnanam. Gnanam in Sanskrit means knowledge. Sinhala has got a lot of, right? Yesterday, Sujiva was telling she is the best Jiva in this place because Su is always prefixed as best. Jiva is life. So best life. Correct? Mano, me, right? Yeah, mano, me is, manam is manas. Manas is mind. Correct? Manam darpana samanam. Shankara wrote like this. Manas is like a darpana. So where do you keep your mother's picture? Is it in the brain or in the manas? Anything which you like, you keep in your manas. Now let me ask you, where do your children keep their mathematics? In the brain, right? A problem comes, they will have to think. When your mother is in front, you have to think, oh, this is my mother. Is it required? Why is it different? What you learn is not in your manomi. Why you don't make it as your most favorite? Correct? That's the meaning of your name. How do you make anything which you learn? This is how you make it most favorite. I analyzed it, so I cannot forget. Guna Palan means what? Guna is always the best again. Palan means, correct? Ajit. Every word has got a great meaning, right? Understood? You analyze. When you get some word, keep analyzing. The method of learning is not data collection. Data is there in the book. It's not knowledge. Is it knowledge? No, it's only some lines, right? When do you see that this book becomes your knowledge? When is it happens? When you analyze, digest, interpret, compare. I'm sure all of you are comparing. This man is talking in a different style. Not that earlier somebody, this is not that way. Right? Sujiva must be thinking, this is not that man whom I saw in the conference on digital media. Digital media, you cannot do all this, right? Correct? You will be talking like a bombal. Like a statue you will speak, or maybe like a, right? AI generated to DrTPS is equal to what I am. It doesn't happen. Your class always require action, drama, visualize. I don't know whether you have Wordsworth's old poem. I'm sure he also studied in India, right? Your first becoming a soldier was from India, right? I was telling his biodata, and today is the order he got as the chief of Sri Lanka Navy. And 5 days after that you joined, 15th, correct? Yeah. He was telling 2009, but in the Wikipedia it is 2008. I study about the person before coming. Correct? So, 2 years, 3 years he stayed. 2011 he left, and then he became commissioner for Australia. What we want is, we must study well before coming to the class. You understood? Assume all your children. That's what I did, because I am from a Malayalam medium, not an English medium. Basically, I am from a small village where electricity came when I was doing my masters. I was thrown out of a school in 8th grade, being the worst student in the school. Luckily, I went back to the same school to give awards to all the children, meritorious students. Right? How did I change? I started learning myself. I don't think no teachers can teach. Are you getting what I'm saying? It is not disrespect to any teachers, because all my relatives who don't get any other jobs are teachers. Because we run our own school. Okay, in Kerala we have got a system in which, like, the CINEC is the institution where all the infrastructure is made by my grandfather, and I can employ teachers there. The government will pay salary. It's called aided system. So we have an aided school in my native, my village. So my brother is a teacher there. He keeps listening to this. One of the worst teacher whom I have seen in my life is my own brother who taught me social science. So I failed in history, failed in geography. You can imagine, I failed in all that subject. And life, after getting a job with a PhD in mathematics and fluid mechanics, my job in space department was making maps. So what did I do? Went back to my 8th, 7th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th grade geography books. And my life was only making maps, geography. Then I realized, yeah, there is a different method of teaching geography. So I taught maximum number of geography teachers in India. I introduced a program called the KISS competition I was secretary for National Cartographic Association. It was not under the biodata, don't worry. Right? Indian National Cartographic Association. So I know how oceanographic charts are made, how ATC maps are made, aeronautical maps are made. I do all this geography job. So map making is my job. So my specialization happened to be mapping. Imagine one subject which I hated in my school days became my profession in my life. What PhD I took, never I used in my life. So I keep saying, what is PhD? Permanent head damage. What is PhD? Perspiration, humiliation, degradation. In mathematics we keep saying, knowing more and more about less and less is specialization. Correct? Knowing more and more about less and less is called a specialization. In mathematics, anything more we call it as infinite. Anything less is called a zero. So what do you know after PhD? I know everything about nothing. Correct? So education is not knowing more and more about less and less. Education is knowing about life. How am I going to use this education in my life? Look at every syllabus. There you define objective and scope of learning. Correct? We fail to define the objective and scope of most of the subject which teach from 8th grade onwards, because abstract science starts there. I am sure throughout the world it's like that. Up to 7th class what we should teach, that governs your life. So I know my life, I know life around my life, I know life around the world today. That education is up to 7th grade. But look at your syllabus, which probably long back started 2000 years back. The education came from India. The Buddhism came from, and that was Akbar who took all the education from India to Sri Lanka those times. Maybe 7,000 years back, or maybe in the BC, I was telling yesterday, there is no difference between BC and AD. A, B, C, D. Between AD is what BC is. World doesn't change, geography doesn't change, earth doesn't change. You can see the fashion coming back, education system coming back. So we have to go back to our root to understand what is that ability, because all of us have a DNA, a pattern of life, a biological structure in which this is the method I have to learn. And unless we identify that, anything important will become unacceptable to us. But we do it because we have a profession, we have something to do that. At least in the younger age, that should not happen. It should be deep rooted in the culture. So I said we have got not tiny tots but tech tots who understand really. I can show you. You can have augmented reality, the lion can come to your class, the teachers can show all that magic of augmented reality if you have got a smartphone. But everybody has a smartphone, but you are not smart. So the problem is, small phone is smart, but you don't use it that smart, right? I have explained in this book how difficult it is for children. We were not realizing when we were young children. Assume that a small child sits in a classroom. I am sure they will not be more than this height, right? right? In the chair which you give for sitting 2 feet or 1 feet, and on top of it 1.5 feet. When they sit, it will be 1.5 feet. So 2.5 feet. That is the height in which they are there. And the teachers are standing. Correct or not? Which part of the body of the teacher the student will see throughout the day? Have you thought about it? I think no mother, no grandmother will stand in front of a child, right? What do? How do you take care of the child? They will sit and the kid will stand, right? So I believe there has to be a drastic change in the system in which the classroom arrangement has to be made. Starting from there, we need a real thought, not in the perspective of the teachers, no, not in the perspective of the parents. You ask, if I can afford, I want my child to go to a private institution. And whose is government schools? Government colleges, government schools, they are all well paid. So their interest is only salary. But who is thinking about the requirement of the child? I go to different schools and ask, take some mathematics problem and then tell me the solution. How many of you have learned a minus b into a plus b is equal to a square minus b square? All of us learned, right? Did you learn or not? Yes or no? Raise your hands now if you have learned. Some activity. You are not active? I thought Sri Lankan people are very active, right? Only on agitation? Raise your hands, all of you. Okay, let me see. Hey, that is also not happening. Am I talking some other different language which you don't understand? That's also possible, right? We had a chief minister of Kerala. He went to America, gave a fantastic lecture. And after the lecture, somebody asked, have you any questions? And then the translator, somebody came in between. If you have some questions, you can ask him. Then audience, somebody said, translate into English. The whole lecture was in English. But nobody could understand his English. So they thought it's a different language from India, right? Like that, my English is not English. Pathetically bad. Only my English professor can tell. My English is okay? Not Shakespearean English, right? Behold her single in the field, yon solitary. Wordsworth, do you learn Wordsworth? Right? Solitary reaper, it's common in the whole world. Correct? I only studied that, but I never understood what is it. But then I went and sat on the front of Wordsworth house, and then I realized, the poetry is written in this house. So it came back to me. I do that. When I go for travel, what I do is go and sit in the houses of all the people who wrote. And that's how you learn. Right? Behold her single in the field, yon solitary, Hylanda singing and reaping by herself. And I don't teach this. I act in the class. You understood? Behold her. Somebody is reaping and singing. Do not trespassers allowed. And solitary, alone. Correct? Every line has got the word alone, 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 alone. And you will learn all the synonyms of alone in that poetry. What a beautiful poem is that. And we have a great poet from Kerala. He translated the whole thing into Malayalam. He got a lot of awards. Correct? So it's very simple. The only thing you have to make it your. So it is not data, it is not poetry. What is essential? Realizing it. Don't think that I am jumping. I asked you a question data, then went to a minus b into a plus b. I have not forgotten. Why? A minus b into a plus b is equal to a square minus b square. Everybody knows. Everybody writes and gets mark. Where is it used? Have you used in your life any time? Ask your 8th grade, 10th grade children. Yeah, somebody is doing like this. I never used. Wonderful. You are not alone in this world. You have a lot of people as company. So you have the credit. Democracy, you are the winner. If you don't know anything also. Because everybody is like that, right? Let me ask you, what is 64 into 56? Who can give me the answer? 56 multiply 64. I'll give you a prize, don't worry. Not Sri Lankan money. I can give you only books. Tell me. See, you have a problem. This is where a minus b into a plus b is used. It is 60 minus 4 into 60 plus 4. 60 square minus 4 square, 60 square is 3600 minus 4 square is 16, so you get 3584, correct? The formula is given, but no maths teacher told you where to use it. So our education has become like that. That is why we don't accept it. It's very tough for exams. No, nothing is tough. You give me a student who don't understand and who says the subject is tough for half an hour, I will make him or her to love that subject. That's my guarantee, which I have done with hundreds of people. That's how I became from bad student to a good student. Look at where is it used. That is where nothing, internet is not new. Every small child has got www with them. Where, when, what, they add a little more, how, correct? www is the child's job. They keep on asking, what is this? Is there any child who don't ask? Correct? Where is it? What is it? How is it? Everybody keeps asking. As a small child, we all asked. But after some time, what happened? The KG classes, they say keep quiet. Which is the maximum number of words used in KG classes? Tell me. Silence, please. Yes or no? Do you agree? Keep quiet. So what are we doing? That curiosity, the quest for knowledge is shut. Question comes from the root word called quest, correct? An English teacher has to justify what all I'm saying. I also taught in 1984, I started teaching English. I was telling yesterday to him, saying that, no, I taught a Run and Martin grammar book. And how do? I have been taking, I was taking, I had taken, I had been taking, I shall take, I shall be taking, I shall have taken, I shall have been taking. This is how I learned my grammar. And all the synonyms. No Google there, no. Today you want do, you get. That time you do like this, you don't get. So I made it, when I do like this, I should get. But it is still, however, nevertheless, all the synonyms are by hearted like slokas only. Sloka is the best method to learn. That's why all the Puranas, Idihasas, stories, everything is written in poetry. Right? Yesterday I was talking about geography, correct? He was testing whether it is correct. He was realizing, I am not using the word testing, sorry. Correct? Lanka and India is connected. You know, we had a Greenwich meridian. We had a Greenwich meridian before Europe had a Greenwich meridian. You want to know where is it? Go to your Google, type Lanka, you will get the point. Then next you put Khajuraho in India. And then put Kailash. It becomes the same line. And that is what the sloka says. Lanka Vatsyapura Vatsyapura was the original name. Khajuraho came later. Vatsyapura Sthaneshwara Suralayan Deshandara Vidayani. The east and west is separated like that. So you imagine what a great geography we had. India and Lanka was not different. They connected together. And who wrote this? Aryabhadiyam. Aryabhada wrote this. So our knowledge was before computers, busy. And we are in AD, after digital. This is the biggest problem we have, because we took birth in before computer and we have to become after digital. Lot of conflict and confusions. What is to be learned? That is where we should understand. It is not a 100-year-old education which we are talking. Education doesn't happen or doesn't change in 100 years. Education happens much faster. I am sure last 5 years you have seen a drastic change in education, right? Yes or no? Now everybody comes for counseling to me for which branch is to be taken, where to join for education. Thousands of messages will come. If I just switch on, it will come. The mustard, when you put in the oil, tap, no? Like that my WhatsApp will come. What is it? It's all asking question, where should I join? After 12th grade, 13th grade, 10th grade, I don't know what to take in my life. I said, I don't know your ability. You should ask your teachers, what is my ability? No, you have got a rank which says this. But rank has no meaning. Marks have no meaning today. Right? Why? There was a college where everybody failed. One of the parent was telling, there is a college near my house, but everybody failed. Now what is to be done? I said, don't worry, the college will become autonomous, everybody will pass. What is autonomous? You conduct your exam, not anybody else, and then give marks. That's how it is. Yes, it happened. One college told 100%, placement. Award was given in the television, national media in India. I immediately called the principal and said, 2 months back I came there, I know this college cannot be 100% placement, yeah? How are you getting this award? He said only 3 people, students passed out of 180, all the 3 got a job. Finished, no. Correct? So education has become like, I keep saying, there are 2 places where test and examination happens. Which are the places? One in the hospital, next in the colleges. We call it as test, we call it as examination. In the hospital, when the test conducts and then somebody fails or somebody gets less mark, less grade in your hemoglobin, or what do? The doctor will scold you. Doctor will tell you are useless. Then what does the doctor do? They treat you, conduct again examination and see that you are 100% and then discharge you to home, right? But in schools what happened? Nursery, LKG, you are not good, push him to grade 1. So with all the chronic diseases of all the diseases which you have, you reach into university and the university process will say, useless. How many students in this world, including me, I heard this word useless in my life. Yes or no? You tell me whoever is there who did not hear. Everybody heard. I am useless. But I keep saying, you are not useless, but you are useless. Correct? We are not useless, but what happened? We have not used our ability to learn because of many reasons. So today it is very simple, because I keep saying you join any college, it doesn't matter, because all throughout the world there are thousands of universities which are the highest grade in the world giving free education for you. edX, Coursera, Udemy, you name anything, ask the topic and then ask for education, you get everything. So that is the world today. I am sure every doctor in the graduation passed and then practicing, what do they do? When somebody comes with an eye problem, what do they do? Will they treat you? They refer to the specialist. So what is the normal teacher's job? Refer to specialist. So who are the specialists? It's available all throughout the world. That is what is new education policy. Are you getting? I don't know whether to tell this in a different style. This is the best style with I thought I can tell. So what do I tell? From early education, we must understand not that what we follow Montessori, not what we follow from London Bridge is falling down. Correct? Biggest mistake. It is falling for the last 200 years. From the continuous tense, they have not even transferred to past tense. Anybody knows here? I will give you how much? Little Sri Lankan rupee I have, I will give you. Tell me, where is London Bridge? Simple question. This man is mad or what? Yeah, immediate answer. Where is London Bridge? Wrong. Google it. That was falling. That is the time when the poet wrote the poetry. It would have been fallen, but before that, American people took it and then established in Arizona, in America. Without knowing, all our KG, in the whole world, wherever I go, I never got a right answer. So how much knowledge a teacher have? If a student by mistake asks the teacher, tell me where is London Bridge, she'll come, I will just come and then never come back to your class. Understood? This is what happens to our education. We teach something which somebody told at some point of time without even thinking whether it is right or wrong. You look at DrTPS London Bridge. I have given a history of London Bridge, collected from different media. I went to London Bridge and then started thinking, what is it here? This is the bridge which was falling, and what happened to that? So I wrote a poetry, My Late Visit to the Colonial World. That's a book on my Rhythm of Life. There is another book which I wrote a poetry, and that is the poem which I wrote, Rhythm of Life. Okay. So all of you should start asking questions, and you cannot get an answer. What you should do? Google. So which is the best teacher in the world? Google. Very simple. I can give a beautiful adaptive learning class today, you know. What do I do? Ask ChatGPT, make a presentation, put all the points, put it there, and then read that. My class is fantastic. But you can also do that. But what I spoke so far, you cannot do that. ChatGPT cannot. Understood what I'm saying? So if you want, what you require is not what you get from ChatGPT. As teachers, you must get your life experience. We are all, I keep saying, life is like we have given a birth. It's like we have gone in a bus and we reached a bus stand. So all of you reached Sri Lanka, Colombo. This is the bus stand where you have been given birth. Now what do? You wait for the next bus. For what? That is the death bus. You will go finish. You are not moving around and seeing where I am. So this whole earth you must go and visit. Keep traveling. Keep going to different places. Understand what is life. L, what is life spelling in Sri Lanka? L, I, F, E. Live in full enjoyment. But all of you I am seeing, I found Sri Lankan people are not happy when this class is getting over. Am I that boring? Breathless. This is what is meditation you learn. Somebody teaches, take your breath and hold it. My guru keeps saying, breath, air is not yours, don't hold it. Give it to somebody else. It has to flow. Don't hold it. I was teaching when I learned my yoga in the early childhood. I learned in an ashram and somebody was told, take your breath, hold it. He went for a chai. He was like a pressure cooker. It was going out. Later I realized it has to be Tailathara. You know what is Tailathara? Taila means oil. What you are lighting is oil. Which oil is that? Eh? Why coconut oil? Why not refined oil? You get refined oil, right? Which you are using for cooking. Try, what will happen? Eh? Which is the best one other than oil? Ghee. Correct? Ghee is the best. Little cut juice? So why? I am sure who is having a great Navy background will tell the fluid mechanics of, correct? The oil exploration people will tell it is non-Newtonian fluid. So if you keep a wick, it will go up. Normal oil will not go up through the wick. You are not lighting the oil actually. Though the announcement told you have to, the oil lamp. But what are you lighting? Camphor and the cotton. But are you lighting the camphor and the cotton? No. What are you lighting? The camphor and the cotton becomes a tool for the oil to go up so that one fire will come. Why are you lighting it? Why are you lighting it? It has a tradition. Why it's a traditional lamp? What is tradition? Ask this question. Shubham karoti kalyanam. Shubham. Sinhala word? Yes or no? Karoti, action. Kalyanam, happiness. After lighting the lamp, you should not become very serious. You should smile. But I have not seen. I have recorded. It says everybody is serious. it says Kalyanam is happiness, right? Correct? Shubham karoti kalyanam. Let this become a happy moment. And you are all sitting very serious. No, it should not. Life is to enjoy. Live in full enjoyment. How can I enjoy this lecture? No lecture I enjoy in my life. Why? Learn in full enjoyment. Life is learn in full enjoyment. Why? L-E-A-R-N, learn. When you learn, learning license you will get. Will you get here? Do you have to put a elbow? And you can drive on the road? Possible or not? Possible. After learning, what you will do? Still you will put the elbow or remove elbow? Remove elbow. So remove L from the learn. What do you do? Learn. Understood? Very simple. Why do you learn? To remove your board. After learning, what do you do? Earn. That's life. This is a great method. You have to learn, and certificate somebody can give. No problem. But you have knowledge. I am sure my certificate is not verified when I am called here for lecture. Did you? No. See, wisdom and knowledge comes with the experience. There is experiential learning, and that goes into manas. Experimental learning goes into brain. It's not mind. There is a Nagarjuna who says there are two types of education, and the best education is which is experiential learning. So that is what you have skill development. You are practicing, that's experiential. So what is you wanted to perform in your life perfectly well, you should have three things in your life. One is skill. Cooking, I know. What? I know in the book. Will you be able to cook? No, you have to experiment. When I go to kitchen, my wife will ask, what is that you are making? I said, I am a researcher basically. So I will tell you what I make after getting the result. Correct? I will not name what I am going to make. After making, I will name it. That's what all the researchers do. So you can see DrTPS cooking. On the YouTube it is there. You want some Indian items, you can check. Or you tell me which Indian item and I will come to your house and then cook and show you. I experiment. Then you enjoy. You have to enjoy. If you don't enjoy, cooking becomes a big job. If you don't enjoy life, what it becomes? Horrible, right? All of you lift your hands. Please, yeah. Take it back on your head and then say, oh my life, useless life. You want to change that? Very simple. Read this first poetry in this book. Life of Love. All my books in the beginning, other than education, L-I-F-E, life. Very specific, yes, titles are different. Otherwise, common books. The first poetry is a beautiful poem, not because I wrote. Millions of sperm from the father get into the mother's egg and only one sperm take birth, and that's me. How many sperms did not take birth? Millions. Who are they? My unborn brothers and sisters. So who is the winner? I am the winner. All of you lift your hands. Take it back and say, well done. See, it's a great life we got. We don't realize it. True or not? Imagine instead of me, my unborn brother or sister would have been here. They would have performed much better. Knowing that will give me a spirit saying, no, I am not. Because it's a great chance which I got in my life. All my poetries, 27 poetries are like 27 stars. Not me, the great poets of Kerala, India, different Delhi University professor told, yeah, I have not seen such a book with a lot of scientific thoughts written into poetry. The governor of Bengal read this and then said, yeah, it's great. And he spent one full day checking all his library to find there is another poetry in the same spirit, same myth has been written in some other poetry. And he was thinking, I have stolen. And then he found out that is my own poetry in Malayalam. Right? So I have invested a governor's one day. He would have asked me, where did you steal from? Then I would have told this volume I have. This is the book I said, The Rhythm of Life, where I have got my travelogues written, the Fiji trip, all that. So when I am so lucky that I have wrote all these poems before ChatGPT. Otherwise people will say, he has written in ChatGPT. You can give any theme and write it, but your feelings will not come. You know why am I saying this? I am saying this because you cannot replace the innovation, the creativity. I am not saying A. A is used not very specific. The is used when specific, right? Yeah, my English is okay. So the creativity of DrTPS cannot be done by ChatGPT. So each one of us have got something very specific. Identifying that is the purpose of education. Understood? That is where adaptive learning comes into picture. All your class is like a buffet. Everything is kept, maths, physics, chemistry, but you don't know which is tastiest food. So what do you do in buffet? go one round and then check which is good. That is up to 10th grade, 12th grade. Then you go to commerce and then say, oh, this is my test, let me go there. That's how you go to the second time in the same counter, having one more item special, correct? So education is like that. You have to specialize yourself, what do you like? But the problem is everything is cooked in not the right way. So do we have an option to find out teachers of same subject in different tastes? That is what my first book on adaptive learning says. Some teachers are apprentice type teachers. So what do? Do this, do this, do this, do this. They have a sequence. That's what the apprentice do, right? They give an instruction, follow this. You cannot repair a machine in the discovery style. It will never be repaired. You have to go, this is the step you have to remove, this is what you have to remove, and there is a manual which says this is how you should do it. That's called apprentice type. The another method is deductive. You tell a story and say this is the detective. Yes, education people will like it. So there are different styles. I teach in the discovery style because I am basically a mathematician. So I will not tell you M minus B into A plus B has got this application. What did I do? I asked a question, 56 into 64, and then asked and then told, yeah, this is what it is. You did not realize it. I am discovering whether somebody can. That's why I am saying I will give you prize. So I am discovering. That is the style. So some people will love this man because, yeah, I am also into that style. So the style matches, the teacher is very good. If the style doesn't match, the teacher is bad. It is not that you are bad, your style is different. So what happens in adaptive style? All the teachers' classes are recorded. All the students get an opportunity to look at all the classes, attend all the different styles, and computer will tell that this person is of this style. So if he wanted to do today, don't go to this teacher, go to the other teacher. The computer will drive you. So today it is very much possible, but when I wrote the book, I wrote like this, an imaginative world it will happen. But now today it is possible. Now you go and Google something, immediately the answer will come to you in a different style. My answer will be in a different style because this is what I did with my knowledge. This is what a second question which I asked. My system understands this. Every one of us have got a logbook. So computer understands the learning patterns, learning styles of everyone as your mother knows what food taste you have and they will prepare for you. Are you getting? Now in a classroom it is not possible because you have 40 children, all of them have different style, the teachers cannot manage. Therefore what is to be done? You should have this into the place. And imagine somebody is a very smart learner, he can learn everything in 1 week. But your syllabus completion happens only in 1 month. You know what boring is that? For whom? Both teachers and the student. So what the teachers will do? Teachers know, oh, this person is not listening. They will say he's a smart boy and give a complaint to the parent. Smart boy not listening. Why? You heard many times this? Smart boy not listening. Why? And in between you will say, look at me please. Don't you say all the teachers, listen please, attention please, look at me please. This is the another word which all the teachers use. Why? They are not looking at you. Their eyes are here but they are imagining something else. All the students are like this. Correct? Why? You are not a cinema star. You have to be really a person who there you drag attention. There is another principle called Nanny's principle. Drag the attention of the students. But how many teachers are possible to do this? No, class should not be like, ask them, and the language can be different, the English can be different, the subject can be, the word which you are using, they don't understand. So what is to be done? Every student, including maths, physics, chemistry, biology, everyone, social science, ask them to look at dictionary, understand the real meaning of the word used in that context, and then come to the class. Understood? Otherwise what will happen? He was a person who has got some inclination towards commerce, right? And he heard the word in chemistry class, property. Yeah, property means what? You have a legal document. That is what is property, right? It's your property means what? But the teacher was talking about property of matter. Right? The property of salt is the taste of salt. But the student is thinking about property means some document. A proper student is a proper student who has a property of a student. What will happen? When those teachers would speak, the students are perceiving knowledge, not the way the student want to perceive, but the way the teacher wants the student to perceive. There is a great word in communication. The perceiver perceives the way the perceiver wants to perceive and not the way the speaker wants the perceiver to perceive. I think this is how you should understand, but I am not able to put them into that words where you understand what I mean. That is why in between teachers will say, what I mean is what I told, right? No, but you didn't get it. How do I know? Looking at your face, I know you. No, you are not happy. And I will look at the next person. He realized that's good for me. So every teacher look at the different faces to see, oh, this is a good student. In one go, they understand. But that student, what happened? They did not understand. So every student is not in different style. They are on different style. They don't understand everything. So you have to take more time. And smart students should get past faster. So adaptive learning talks about flexible system. Not exam is conducted one day. Exam is conducted every moment. Every day. What you do is write exam and then pass. Immediately. Assume you fail in some subject, one chapter you don't understand. The system will refer you back saying that this chapter you did not perform well. There is no 60%, 40%. 100% knowledge. Then only pass. You did not get that sufficient knowledge, go back and learn in the earlier class, refer back. We don't do that in our classroom. A third grade student or fourth grade student don't understand, we will ask them to go to second class again, study and come back. We don't do that. But in flexible system, adaptive learning, computer based learning, you do this. Got it? I did not understand gravity. What should I do? I should go back and then see what gravity is. I must learn the basics of energy levels. I must know. Just don't take it for granted that I know this and then start reading. No, it's not like that. That is what the education system which we have. Okay, so it is not what we have to do just after birth kg. So before birth it has to be taken care of. That's why I wrote a book on Ayurveda, style of pregnancy and child care. And then I told you most of the time they have a problem, they are thinking something else. So that matters, mind matters. So you have to talk about the adolescence psychology. You have to talk about the children's psychology. So that is also very, very essential. The mental health care, this is a book which the Mysore University is going to give a certificate program which I have written the book for the Mysore University. I have a contract with them. Now this is age 3 to grade 7, how psychology of children can be taken care of. Imagine every child in small age also, they know the taste of which color they want. Sometimes they become upset because they have not got the color of the dress which they want, and that will impact upon their learning style also. They become adamant, they become arrogant. Okay, so this is Mindset Mastery which I wrote with the Azerbaijan group of people. This is the book which we are going to release today. And you know SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. I rename it as Sanatana Dharma Goals. Sanatana Dharma is the dharma which India established, and Rama was the dharmic person, and all these what we have today is an established method of what we had earlier in BC. And United Nations UNDP programs, when we were young what we had was UNDP, right? You look at UNDP, it says everybody should have education. Now what SDG says? Everybody should have good education. Does it mean UNDP told to give bad education? Correct? Because every system, every government, whether it is United Nation or nation, they have to redefine and put a new bottle, old wine, a new bottle. That's it. Nothing great. Refresh it once again. That's what, nothing else is happening. So we need to look at what is traditional, and learning our traditional knowledge is what I impact from the Grandma Child Care Shiksha Guruvila, which is being spread all throughout India, going to different states, different places. Soon after this, I am going to Karnataka, to Belgaum, Hubli, Goa, Mysore, and then doing these teachers training programs. So your life becomes a 3-2-1 world. What is 3-2-1 world? Education is not 21st century education because it's not 100 years. It is not next generation which is 20 years. Generation is 20 years. No, we should talk about 10 years minimum. We are already in the second half of the 10 year because 2021 to 30. So I keep talking about third decade of 21st century. That's why I named it as 3-2-1 world. So this is a 3-2-1 world. And what is the role of teachers in the 3-2-1 world? How your life becomes in harmony with the effect what happens around you also matters. So these are all my books which I will gift it to. You want to? All of you will take it together. Ajit ji, come. All the leaders come. Only one copy because it's too big. Probably. So I think I can finish here. You can ask me any questions when you have an interactive session. Good enough? Good enough or not? Did you understood what is adaptive learning?
Yes.
Flexible, anytime examination, anytime learning from any resources in the world. Right? Google it, find out where is the source, get all free education available across the world. No money required. I can register to 40 programs. I have students who registered 40 programs parallel. 10 of them they will get classes, they like this, they attend that, get a certificate. Some universities in the world, renowned universities, will charge you for certification. It's very meager amount. Get that certificate, you get a bunch of, I have got students who got 200 certificates. By the time they passed a 3-year BTech program, 4-year BTech program. What is the benefit? All these you list and apply in MIT, my student got full free fellowship. Earning 3 crores. Earning 3 crores. The fees and the accommodation is also given free. That is how student should become. How you should learn from all the resources in the world, get them certified from the best universities across the globe, and prove that you are an international student. Only what you require is a laptop and a good internet connection. Now I have seen a country like Pakistan. You can look at Pakistan DrTPS. You can see a lot of people interviewing. You know who? Who is a tailor with a single door tailoring mission. He does this job. Soon after that, he wanted to talk to an Indian space scientist what this scientist is doing. Wondered. That is how knowledge comes. So I have a team of people from US who will train you in AI, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, anything you want, and that you can do it in your place. It's like a social service. To make you IoT is what? IoT is everything is connected in the world. My camera is connected, if I am doing it live, it is IoT. You have kept a camera, security camera there, and you are seeing from your mobile here, that's IoT. Connecting all that through the electronics and the network and use the communication as best as you can is the world of today. Right? Play with it, enjoy that, and if you don't, you miss the bus. But I keep saying, missing a bus is good. Sometimes you get better buses. Correct? But once you get into a bus, you miss a lot of other buses. But that is not in IT, only in life when you marry somebody. Okay. Good enough?
Yeah.
What is the next agenda?
It's the book launch.
Okay. So to go or stand?
Just a small. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. DrTPS for your enlightening and thought-provoking session on adaptive learning and its transformative power of technology in education. So we will now open the floor for a Q&A session. If anybody who needs to ask a question from Dr. DrTPS, we will bring your microphone.
Very rarely people call my full name Dr. DrTPS. Because in Kerala, India, we have SASI, that's my name. Correct? Spelling? SASI. But in North India, it's SHI. Shashi. Shah and Sai is different. And I am called Dr. TPS. Basically because the job which I am doing is teachers, parents, students. TPS. Earlier I was temperature pressure second, scientist. In between I was top police service.
So I was TPS. So whenever I go, I compute this TPS. And my subject is fluid mechanics, thermal power, and such power. So there also is thermal power station, TPS. And my trust is called Shiksha. If you look at DrTPS, I from Shiksha. Shiksha spelling is what not SASI, SHA, K. And SHA, you put the other way, it becomes Shashikumar. Correct? So any questions? Yeah, wonderful. Lovely. I have a gift for you.
Whoever asks question, I have some gift, which is not part of it. Adaptive learning. Yeah. Whatever, holding also the same. Right. Now he cannot scold. I have given bribe to him.
So, sir.
No, sir.
Right.
Sir is a old British type, which I don't be left to that 75 years now.
Good.
Yeah. DrTPS.
DrTPS. It's very nice to meet you, by the way. My question is based on actually literature. So I study literature here at CINEC. I want to know how we can adapt adaptive learning to the context of teach English literature to specifically speaking secondary school students.
Why do you teach literature to secondary school?
We do have the subject here.
Why?
For one thing, we need literature to sort of like make them understand the language.
No!
Ask this, Professor, is it correct? Is it literature required for learning language? See, I can speak Sinhala without even reading one book in Sinhala language. Are you getting?
Yes.
I had a Navy visit Cochin, naval shipyard. I had a group of people, I was the leader. In between the lunchtime, I told the team I am going for a class. And that day I had literature BA students, BA language students together. I asked same question, they don't know. Language is entirely different, literature is entirely different. Understood?
Yes, sir.
There are a lot of people in the world who did not read in a single book,
But they are very good in the language. So literature is to understand why am I reading Macbeth? Why am I reading Macbeth? Macbeth, the language is entirely different. Shakespeare has used a different language. Right? And philosophy, you have, there is something called the humanities. The humanities, I have to be a human being. Being human is human being. Very simple. Social being is being social. So how do I learn? How do I know Mahatma Gandhi? How do I know Nelson Mandela? Through literature. Without knowing also I can live in this world, happily, peacefully. Knowing more and more makes me more and more dull. Right? But as human being, we have a great question. I've got the whole history made into one Excel sheet. Right? When Shakespeare was writing, who was writing in Kerala? What was the standard of writing? How the lifestyle has changed. When people write, people read, we realize so many things. The air between the breaths. I don't know anybody read. Paul Kalanidhi's book. You read, you feel what is great in becoming a great doctor when you suffer at the end of your life. Who will teach you this? You have to read Tolstoy, then you will realize what life he had. I am a literature man. I love all the comparative literature. Language is entirely different. Language is very simple to learn. Whereas you want to learn 5 Indian languages in 1-2 minutes, I'll teach you. Which will make you to survive in any part of the country where you go. Are you getting? You can teach me simple also. Here, what do you say in your language? Here. You can sit somewhere. Here, what do you say here in your language? Louder. See the similarity? Ivide. In Malayalam. So tell Ivide. Ivide. Avide. Everyday. Correct? Ivide. Avide. Everyday. You learn Malayalam. You go to Kerala, you can survive with these 3 words. That's good enough. Everyday water. Finished. You know Ivide, you know Avide, right? Correct? And you go to the next state, Tamil, most of you know Tamil, Inge, Ange, Enge. Tamil is much easier because there is no ka, ga, kha, only ka is there, cha, ta, ta, pa. Kadar, if you know all the language. Right? Very simple. I learned reading and writing Tamil when I was in 7th grade. Now you go to the next Karnataka where I had education, it's entirely different. Where I am giving is Telugu. Ikkade, Akkade, Ekkade. Illi, Alli, Elli. Illi, Alli, Elli, Ikkade, Akkade, Ekkade, either, there, either, udhar, kidhar, ivide, avide, evide, in your language? Itala, Atala. Say it no, E, A. Etala. Correct, Etala, correct or no? That's it. See, this is language. Do I have to read a Macbeth to learn this? So you are actually useless. All the literature is not to be taught. It is with a passion you should read it. So what should literature teacher should read? If you read, there is a great word says, if I can translate the consequences of such success matters. Says, if I can translate the consequences of such success, where do you learn this philosophy? The model millionaire. All millionaires are model and all models are not millionaires. All the millionaires are models, but not any model is a millionaire. These are all great philosophies of life. Learning philosophy, I am a philosophy professor. So most of the philosophy day I am called in universities to give philosophy. Learning philosophy comes through understood. In Tamil Nadu we had a great Rishi called Ramana. He gave a lot of lectures. Everybody started telling this is in Vedas. But he doesn't know it is in Vedas. You understood? It is not because he learned literature he became knowledgeable. Knowledge comes from the divine sources. That is how they wrote. So most of the poets write poems. You don't have to read all these books to become a good teacher. Without all these books also you are a good teacher. So literature is different, language is different. Both are required. Only when you require at a higher level, probably literature is required. So don't mix this. So secondary level, why we are learning making literature? There is a great person who was very, very systematic in life. Then reading that I will feel, oh, I should also become like him. They are like motivation. That is what is the humanities department is doing. Making people to realize that, oh, there is a great person, let me also try to become like that. And what do I become? I learn about Newton, not in the physics class, but in literature. Oh, this is made by him, so let me also follow. So you are a great motivator. And no English language is, mathematics is a great language of science. Mathematics is not a subject, mathematics is a language of all other subjects. So I am very close to literature. I am very close to language. Which language is mine? Mathematics language. You tell me any word in English, I will tell mathematics inside that. There is mathematics in there because it is logic. Logical reasoning, when a question comes, you don't know whether it's maths or English. You don't know whether it is maths or English because both are same. Logical reasoning, analytical skill, mathematical ability, data analysis, interpretation, all these are examinations for any competitive exams in the world. Last university where I worked, I did a program called a campus to corporate. So what I was teaching students was how to make yourself fit for any job. Not one job, any job. Got it? So literature will give you global view of the whole world. That is wonderful. Language is used in literature. Therefore we say somebody is writing so fantastic. R.K. Narayan. Correct? You all read that. Correct? And you don't require language to express. His brother was R.K. Lakshman. You know only R.K. Narayan. His brother was R.K. Lakshman. What was his view? And how he expresses, he draws pictures. And picture is much more better than, that is why when you said R.K. Narayan, immediately said R.K. Lakshman's brother. I don't say R.K. Lakshman is R.K. Narayan's brother. You understand the other way. You have a hotel called Shankila, right? Shankila? Do you know where is that place? There is no place in the world called Shankila. It is an imaginary place made by a novel writer. See how it became famous? The literature became a language of business. It has become a branch. So literature influences those people who are educated. That influence can be used by people on the ground. So your job is motivation. So don't say it is to communicate, it is to make people realize, understand. So it requires a little higher standard. Not everybody can. So in a classroom, when I am training people, 10th class, don't imagine that all these people will become scientists tomorrow. Are you getting? I don't know among whom this class, who is going to be a writer tomorrow? Who is going to be a poet tomorrow? Who is going to be a judge tomorrow? Who is going to be a mathematician tomorrow? I don't know. So what am I doing? I am giving all these and then motivating them, learn maths, come to me. So I keep saying every teacher who is a maths teacher is a marketing person of their subject. So I am teaching my subject to going to the class. I will ask which subject you want to know, and they say social science. I said, yeah, that is the best subject to know. So what am I doing? Marketing my subject. So literature, only very little people. Language, everybody gets marketed. What I got is language. Every child learns language by themselves. Who is teaching mother tongue to us? We look at the lip movement of the mother and learn. Correct? What do you call Amma? Mother here? Amma. Every child who teaches the child to say Amma, Madhya Pradesh. When you feel hungry, definitely the child will call Amma. Correct? You don't require Uttar Pradesh. Not required. Buddhi is not required to learn. Everybody calls us. And assume that you become deaf and dumb. Language doesn't come. Yeah? My eldest brother was a deaf and dumb. But he was a great man who knows how to express. We all learned because of him. His language. Correct? Body language. Yeah. Satisfied?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. Wonderful. I think you did not expect this much, right?
No, but I learned a lot, doctor.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Doctor. You were talking about the experiential
Learning.
learning and experiential education. So we have a group of professionals, such open. You can further explain the importance of inbound education and outbound education, where we do outbound experiential education. So it was very, very relevant that what you were telling, and really, really impressed. So you are emphasizing the experiential education. So further explanation about the all see it, and so you can further explain the importance of experiential education. CINEC. We are very proud of Captain So, further expanding our relationship with CINEC, I would like to know further explanation and further information about the importance.
I'll take cue from what he asked and then, or the motivation. I earlier told one formalized by DrTPS, but I stopped it in between. I was expecting some question. I thought I'll expand it there and kept it reserved. Performance. Every skilled learning, experiential learning, ultimately is to perform. Correct? How do you perform? That P performance equal to attitude of the person. Attitude plus skill plus opportunity. That's a formula from DrTPS. Which when I was talking to different management institutes, I go for the insurance companies, many companies for motivating them to make them skill oriented. So performance depends on your skill. Performance also depends on your attitude. Right? Some people by force come for this job. They don't know have an attitude. So what will happen? You learn lot of skill, but what are they experiencing? Horrible. Yeah. That is the ultimate word there is. So you need to have an attitude setting. That is what the inbound and outbound. I want to produce something, but I produce in the worst way I have. I don't enjoy it all. I don't know whether you have seen the movie called Chef. American President Chef is the story there. Right? All of them, they are not testing whether this man has got a great ability to do the job. He experiences the zeal of cooking. So everyone, even if it is outward, there is an inward activity which happens, the learning happens inside my ways. That is what is experiential. I enjoy doing it. When I enjoy doing it, assume that I ask somebody to do a job which they don't like, what will happen? After half an hour they will get tired. I love it, what will happen? Even after 10 hours, I will never be tired. How a dancer dances for hours together? Because they are enjoying. Assume they don't enjoy, what will happen? Every audience will not enjoy. The first is that I should enjoy making it. So, attitude, skill. But there are a lot of people who got attitude, they have got skill, but what they don't have is opportunity. So, every trade, every company, every institution must see that my students have got a placement. Guaranteed. How much time they have spent, how much money they have used based on the merit, do they have a position where they can do? Assume that you are overqualified, and then see in Department of Space when we advertise for BTech graduates, technology. But some MTech applies, the first thing we don't take him. He is highly qualified. What is the problem? All others are BTech. This fellow also will not get a promotion just because he is an MTech. He has to wait 4 years. So what will happen? He will start disturbing all the people, right? So one small drop of ink is good enough to spoil the whole water. You cannot drink that. So this is what happens. So experience is fantastic, along with the skill is fantastic, along with the attitude, and that is why all the technical institute also have got a humanities department. Humanities department is that, otherwise you are only drawing, you are asked to draw a flower, will you draw only a flower without with at least 2 leaves also you will draw, right? Why? That's the contrast color which you draw. The rose flower has got a green leaf. So all your technical skill is fantastic, but without attitude, I am sure I was a space scientist happy, but my happiness is much more than that when I give lectures, share my knowledge. The first thing what I did is, as soon as I finished my 20 years of service, I am eligible for pension, life is secured immediately, even my wife divorced. Divorce is divorce, right? What do? We get money from the government, right? I am taken care of, I can sleep in a hut. Everything is taken care of. That is what the opportunity we have. Such opportunity I am using for my passion. And that passion becomes my profession, fantastic. Right? Therefore I am enjoying. Experience can be good experience and bad experience also. He is an experienced driver, but you hear after 10 years he is not driving. Why? He had a major accident. Then his attitude has gone. So many people have this problem. I see, yesterday I was traveling to Colombo from Hyderabad. The person who was sitting beside was electrical engineer. No, computer science engineer. The job what he is doing is electrical engineering. I said, I am seeing a contrast. Today all the electrical engineers move into programming. That's what most of the people do. Core engineering, they will not get job, they go to computer programming. Computer science is the most opted in India, everywhere in the world. So I asked him, how come you changed from this to this? That everybody does, but this is more thrilling. Repairing some machine which is not working. And he has got a lot of contract. Different parts of the world he is doing a business. Young man, started only 4 years back. He has got 40 people working under him on maintenance contracts. I said, great. Now I will quote you, and I am able to quote today. I am sure he is going to listen to this lecture. Correct? I never thought he will give an opportunity for me to quote this. So what happened? He learned something, but he is doing something else. Why? He is enjoying. There is a great saying, what you do in your life, if that what you learn is what you are doing, you are trained for that. If you do something which you have not learned in your life, you are made for that. Understand? Your basic character is what makes you to do something which is of your passion. That's what is essential. I think blending of this is the magic which you have to do with. That's why I keep saying, somebody comes to my maths class, you don't like it, no problem. After 1 hour I will make you to love it. Not even like it, you love it. Correct. That's what I do. I think that has to be the flesh, not the skeleton alone. Adding flesh is our job. That becomes experiential. Good, wonderful. Thank you so much. Good enough? So many.
Sorry, Doctor.
Yeah.
I think your TPS.
Not asking for books.
It's not the book which is going to be before that.
Your TPS, I have another opinion because I'm not addicted to anything, but your TPS seems to be next to a protein substance to me.
Wonderful.
I may follow you hereafter.
Yeah, welcome.
I think through Dr.
No, my name you just type in DrTPS, Google will give you. Otherwise, you tell me. I will do one thing. Just 10 numbers is telephone number, right? India code is 91. Correct? How many of you can remember if I tell you my number, don't write? Only once I will tell. Only once. You will have to repeat it. I will ask any one of you here. If you don't tell, it's a shame for you. Ready? Ready? 10 numbers. When I'm not going to tell as fast as you speak Sinhala. You speak very fast. I'm not doing that. I will speak as Sanskrit slokas are being told. Right? So I'll tell the first number, 3 numbers, then 2 numbers, repeat it internally, then another 2 numbers, repeat all the 7, then repeat. You know why I'm saying? Teachers generally say, don't learn by heart. But I keep saying, learn by heart. You understood the difference? Don't learn by heart, but learn by. There is a lot of difference. Understood? So I am going to make you to learn. Don't type. I keep telling teachers, I will teach your children how to copy in exams. But I tell the children, I will teach teachers how to catch them. So be careful. 950 internally. 20 388 75. Now you have a doubt what you should do? Ask your neighbor. Ask your neighbor whether the number which I learned is correct or not. I am teaching you the method of learning. You clarified or not? Even if you have missed one number, who is going to correct that? Is it? There is a great saying in Sanskrit, learning is Acharyat Padamadatte. Quarter knowledge comes from the Acharya. Padam Shishya Swamedhaya. Repeat yourself and learn. Padam Sa Brahmacharibhya. Learn from your neighbor. Padam Kalakramenacha. Now tell me what is my number? 950 388 75. Ask your spouse number, you may not know. Because you don't have Shraddha. You know what is Shraddha? Sinhala? Shraddha, no? Concentration, attention. Shraddhavan, repeat. Shraddhavan. Labhate. Labhate means gaining, getting. Jnanam. Jnanam, knowledge will come only to those people who have got Shraddha. Shraddhavan. Labhate. Jnanam. That is it. Yeah.
So I think I just wanted to appreciate your whole session. I was too attentive, and every word I think I can.
Yeah, I generally stop lectures if 3 of you start looking at the watch. I am so glad that none of you have looked at your watch. I was looking at it because 11 o'clock I stopped, exactly 11. Then I asked, is it okay, finished? That exact 11. I am very, very punctual in my life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Good enough? Yeah. Now she has a quarter question. You have some question? No. Good enough? Otherwise, 950 20 388 75. Anytime you can schedule a meet and then we have a G meet on your subject. Either to teach me or I will teach you. Right? Both are possible.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. TPS, for your thoughtful responses and for engaging with our audience.
So we are now moving to a very special segment of today's program. It is with great excitement that we announce the launch of the book titled Sri Lankan Learns Adaptive Learning. So this book, which stands as a testament to the profound impact of adaptive learning methodologies on the education landscape of Sri Lanka, is a collaborative effect of Dr. Sujiva Polgampala, Dean, Faculty of Humanities and Education, and our esteemed guest, DrTPS. So to formally launch the book, I invite Dr. Sujiva Polgampala, the author, Dr. T.P. Sasikumar, the co-author, Ms. Nilupama Vikramage, the editor, and Mr. Puri Ramasiri, the designer. And we also invite Admiral Kisara Samrasinghe and Professor Gunapala Nayanankara for the official launch of the book.